Hello, darlings. You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe.
Welcome back, darlings. I'm TV host, entertainment journalist, Cognac Wellerlane, and in just a moment, we are going to see a very special interview with matchmaker Maureen Tara Nelson. Let's take a look at this fascinating interview. Welcome back, darlings. I'm TV host, entertainment journalist, Cognac Wellerlane, and we have a wonderful guest today. She is a matchmaker, Maureen Tara Nelson, and she is going to give us tips about her matchmaking service. For lack of a better word, a matchmaker. That was a term used back in the Victorian times, but you know what, darlings? It still works in 2020. Maureen, welcome to Cognac's Corner. It's such a pleasure to interview you. I have my number one question I want to ask you first is, what inspired you to become a matchmaker?
Well, first, thank you so much for having me. I'm such a big fan of yours. So I'm so happy. Yes, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. So I guess about 20 years ago, I was a former pharmaceutical rep. And one day we learned about narcissism, and I had two young sons at the time, and I realized it wasn't good to be married to a narcissist. And I get a lot of signs from my mother in heaven, and she had just passed away. And I remember that day I went home and I prayed to my mother and I said, what am I going to do? I'm married to a narcissist. Next thing I know, a dating service opened on Long Island. So I knew that this was my calling. So I quickly, yes. So I got right into the industry. Now, keep in mind, the pharmaceutical industry is a fabulous career. So
I know many people that are pharmacists. Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So I come from a large family. I'm the youngest of 6 kids. So one day I say to my family, okay, I'm going to leave my pharmaceutical rep job and work for a dating service and get divorced. So you can imagine, I'm the youngest. My family was like, are you crazy? And to this day, 20 years later, I am still being called crazy, but I've made over thousands of matches. I love what I do. I have thousands of clients.
This all started because you weren't happy with your marriage. You were married to a narcissist.
Yes. And once I learned as a pharmaceutical rep about narcissism, I realized no one is ever going to live the way I had to live. So I kick people out all the time. We are not for everyone. We have a very thorough screening process at MTN Matchmaking.
I'm going to get into that, but first I want to ask you another important question. Do you know the history of matchmaking, how that all started? Did it start from like the Stone Age? I mean, when did matchmaking really start?
That's a great question, because if you ask different people, they will give you different answers. If you ask someone Jewish, they will say, oh, it's a Jewish tradition. If you ask someone...
That is true. Italian people matchmake. I'm Italian.
Yes. If you ask someone Irish is huge with matchmaking. In fact, every single year in Ireland, they have one of the largest Irish events where they just match people for free. And matchmakers from all across the country go there, and singles from all across that are Irish go all across the country to go there to get matched for free. And that man literally still goes by a book. Now, of course, I've never gone there for that, because at this point I have thousands of clients and I have a whole team of experts that assist me. I don't thankfully need to do that, but I'm very proud of my Irish and Norwegian heritage. So
You
To
look
me,
Norwegian. You look Norwegian. You do. You look very Nordic.
thank
The
you.
hair and the facial structure of your face. You do look very Nordic. I study people's. I know a lot of times I could tell what somebody is just by looking at their facial features. So
that's what they taught us in pharmaceuticals, as a matter of fact.
I could tell the shape of the eyes, the nose. I could tell if somebody's Italian, Irish, Norwegian, Swedish, Nordic.
I just love your whole aura. I love it.
Really?
Are you single?
No, darling, I'm married. But I always tell people that you can never really find the perfect mate or man, or if you're a woman, you know, I mean, whatever rocks your boat. If you like women, that's one thing. If you like,
right.
But you can never really find the perfect person.
No one is perfect. You're
exactly.
Right. But someone will be perfect for you.
Yes, I agree. Now, my next question, and this is probably what you're hearing a lot, I'm sure, because of what's going on in the world. What is your biggest challenge right now with the COVID-19? How are you adjusting to that? How are you dealing with the virus and matching people up?
Well, I have to say I'm a very positive person. I've always been very positive. So my biggest challenge has just been people in my life saying, you can't do this, you can't do this. And I've heard things like that my whole life. For example, day one of the pandemic, I had an accountant that said, okay, you're not an essential worker. You're gonna have to close. I said, you're fired. And I went to sleep that night, did my usual praying to my mother. I do get signs from my mom every night, every day. I get them. I woke up the next morning. So again,
deceased.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
So day one of the pandemic, I came up with virtual interviews. So people can now interview from my home office. I mean, of course, now I can go into my 3 offices if they want, but everyone loves the virtual. Or my other matchmakers, they can interview from their offices, and they can do virtual dates. So when he told me to close, I said, no, people are going to need love more than ever.
Oh, absolutely.
Twice the amount of people called us during the pandemic. And it even
really,
was
twice? Wow.
The amount.
So what is the process? They talk virtually first to get to know one another?
Yes.
Do they have to get like a test before they meet one another and
Yes.
go out with each other?
We have a very thorough screening process. We're not for everyone. So many people will say to me over the years, does the internet ever affect your business? The internet helps my business because only 1% of the people that are actively using the internet make it into my screening process and into my service.
Right.
Many people that are using the internet don't like the internet because it's dangerous. There's no screening process. You don't know who you're meeting. You might not meet someone financially stable. You might not meet someone who is looking for a committed relationship.
So your company actually screens the people,
Yes.
both people, to make sure that they're not crazy or something.
Right. We do a felony check.
Right.
We make sure everyone has to be a nice, decent, quality, positive person. Because if someone comes in and they're negative, I can't make them successful. A negative person, if you notice, they're not successful in any aspect of their lives. So they have to be positive. They have to be emotionally stable so that they know what they want. They have to either be financially stable or very financially stable. And we even have a celebrity program. And lastly, everyone has to be looking for a committed relationship, or everyone, I would say, under 50 all wants marriage. So as long as someone qualifies, then we will give them an interview. And then now that Long Island is in phase 4, they get a choice. I typically will now just take, because we have grown so big in the 20 years, I'll take on the celebrities, the physicians, the attorneys, or someone that might have a very strong personality, because again, we're not for everyone. So if,
Right. Now, let's say a celebrity comes to you and wants to find love.
yes.
Do they often tell you, I'm looking for someone that is a celebrity as well as I am? Usually they don't want it. They don't
Yes,
want
you nailed it.
Star. They don't want the celebrity. It's funny.
It's so interesting.
I've been in show business now.
Yes.
Since I'm about 47 years old. And I always wanted to be an actress. That was my dream. I wanted to be a movie star.
You are an actress. Look at you. You are.
I wanted to be, all these things. And my parents were old-fashioned Italian people, and they always said to me, only Bhutanas do that. Get married, have babies, forget about this.
My mother told me the same thing, too.
About being a movie star. So,
I'll have to sleep your way to the top, Maureen.
Exactly. So, and they were really right, because if you watch TV now at Wine,
you're right. Yes.
They were right.
Yes.
But my husband is like one of the most stable people there is. He's down to earth. He doesn't care anything about show business, but, he loves beautiful women, beautiful, sexy women. I mean, but he's very down to earth. And, he's not like he's got to be the star. I'm the star, and I like it that way. So
we should all be the star, ladies.
Right, exactly. I agree 100%.
Ladies, never want to be with a man that's better looking than you. Never.
You know something? I tell women this. I
tell them every day.
I tell women, you have to be prettier than the man. The man can't be prettier.
Of course.
I tell all
you would make a great
women,
team.
I tell young women this. I says, forget about. You should be better than him, better looking.
Of course.
And if you want to get married, I says, you have to make sure when you meet the man that he is going to be a good husband to you.
Right.
And a good father.
Yes.
You want children, a good father to your children.
Yes.
Then you got something there. If you see this man is respectful, and he wants to work, and all of this, and he's responsible, then he will be a good father to your children. And he will be a good husband to you.
And those guys come into a private upscale matchmaker. They don't go on internet sites.
We don't want a man to be ugly. Because we want pretty babies.
That's right.
No, but he's got to be decent looking.
Gasping when we go out to dinner with them.
Right, exactly.
What are you doing with him?
I know. So let me ask you something. So you really do believe in online dating. You think it works, right?
Online dating? No.
Online dating. Don't believe in online dating.
No. 1% of the people that are doing online dating actually pass our screening process.
Wow.
But again, it can work. 1% of the time it works. It's just most people don't have the time to do the screening process.
I'm going to tell you something. I talk to a lot of women, and they tell me that they tell the truth. But the men
lie. Of course.
Lie.
Yeah.
They lie.
We hear it all the time. So when women get sick of all those lies, then they come to me. Now, men come to me when they try internet sites, and women lie too. And they'll say, whoa, that picture that woman sent was from 20 years ago also. Or the woman is a gold digger. So in my program, both parties pay. I'm an executive level certified matchmaker, and I run my program very differently than anyone else because there's very few executive level certified matchmakers throughout the country. And with my program, because both parties pay, a gold digger, she doesn't have money, but she can go on a
and she doesn't want to spend time.
Exactly. But she'll be on a dating site. So celebrities come to me because of that. very financially stable men will come to me for this, and they'll say the fact that she paid, I know she's not a gold digger, plus I wouldn't accept her anyway.
Right.
So, and I'm also, because when I switched over from being a pharmaceutical rep into matchmaking for the reason of that no one is ever going to live a life like I lived, I was very blessed. I didn't do it for the money. So my program is, I have 5 different programs. It's a fraction of the cost of my fellow counterparts that are, say, just certified matchmakers. I love them all. I'll help them all whenever they need a match. You know, they'll call me and say, hey, yes, you know, because I'm all Long Island. But I just never, I wasn't in it for the money. I'm in it to help people. So I've
listen, I do what I do because I love it too. I used to be a secretary. I mean, I told you, my parents said, oh, forget about this show business stuff.
Right.
I used to be an insurance secretary. Can you believe that?
I can't. This is so much better for you because your personality really comes out.
I just love what I do. Unfortunately, I used to be able to go to wonderful galas and parties and, you know, charity things and events, but because of the COVID and the coronavirus, I can't do that anymore. So now I'm doing the Zoom. But I must tell you, the Zoom is very rewarding. And you can interview just about anybody, anywhere, all over the world.
Right.
So
we're now virtual interviewing. So now we are taking in people nationally. We used to just be, I am all of Long Island. So if you look up matchmakers on Long Island, I'm the only real matchmaker on Long Island, especially with 20 years experience. Now, I also have an office in Manhattan, and we just opened up Boca, Florida, right before the pandemic.
Oh my God.
But
now, down there now.
I know. So now, though, since I Zoom with all my clients and do virtual dating, people can live anywhere, and I could match them up. So, you know, you asked before, has the pandemic hurt me? I mean, I hate to say it like this, but it's actually helped so many people be able to find love.
Everybody's looking for love. We're all looking for love. Now, I have another question for you.
Yes.
What expectations do your clients have? Do they often want someone who doesn't exist? Is it sometimes unrealistic what they're expecting? I mean, I would think that when they go through that screening process, you could
have to get rid of those unrealistic expectations.
Yeah. Do you tell them that? I mean,
oh yes. So
when women come to you, what's the biggest unrealistic thing they're looking for?
Okay, well, this is kind of a funny story. So you might have noticed in the news that one of my surveys, and I'm so big on surveys with all of my clients because I have thousands of clients. So during the beginning of the pandemic, one of the surveys was, okay, ladies, who do you find the most handsome man in New York? Now, it doesn't have to be married. I mean, it doesn't have to be single. Could be married. Could be anybody. Just put it out there. We did everything during the pandemic to keep people happy. A million different things. But that was one thing. The answer came back a tie, Chris and Andrew Cuomo. Well, this blew up all over the news.
Oh, he is handsome, Chris.
Yes.
I never interviewed him, but I interviewed his wife.
Oh, okay, yes. Yeah, she seems very nice.
Magazine. She has that magazine.
Purist, yes.
Purist.
Yes, I like the magazine very much. So that made so many different papers. And then, of course, the news interviewed Andrew, and Stephen Colbert had it on the show. And he rudely showed my picture and said, this matchmaker made the survey. She's obviously Long Island. So I got a little beef to pick with that Stephen Colbert. But the funny part is, because of that, women say that are 75 years old, okay? not to be mean, because God knows I am not being mean, but I'm just answering your question. This is the most unrealistic thing that's happened, okay? Women 70 years old, haven't exercised in years, have called up and said, I want Andrew Cuomo.
What?
You can't make this shit up. Oh, I'm sorry. Can I curse?
No, yeah. But that's not really a curse shit. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
But they're 7 years old and they want
70
years old. They think you're gonna match him up with you. I mean with them. I'm sorry.
From the survey, it's like what?
Time. So what are people doing wrong that prevents them from finding love? It's the self-stick.
They're looking for perfection, and no one is perfect. Yeah. And I will tell you exactly what they're doing, because when someone signs up, we right away email them a list of do's and don'ts. Because people will make these mistakes, even in my program, if we don't set them up for success. For example, now we're in phase 4, so we can go out to dinner. Yay! In fact, people are literally not just walking, wanting to go out to dinner. They're racing to get out to dinner on dates here. Yes!
They took away all my media events for the rest of the year. There are no media events in the Hamptons, in New York City, nothing. So the only thing I've got for entertainment is to go out to eat with my husband. That's about it. But we're going to close this interview now. But I am going to show my audience. You have a video about 10 pointers that we should all do. Women mostly, what we should do as a woman. 10 pointers.
Men also. Men should be doing it too.
So we are going to take a look at this video right now, and we'll be back in a moment, darlings.
My first dating tip is to tell everyone that you know that you are looking for a committed relationship, not just someone to date. There's a big difference. My second most important dating tip is to always be at your physical best. Before you start dating, make sure you're exercising, even if you just want to lose a couple of pounds or maybe you just want to firm up, but it will build your confidence. My third most important dating tip is to always be at your emotional best, because you have to be able to love yourself first in order for other people to love you. My fourth most important dating tip is to be positive. You have to put out the positive energy in the universe for that to come back to you. My fifth most important dating tip is to always look your best every time you leave the house. Whether it's going to the supermarket or the library, you never know. So take an extra 5 minutes to make yourself look good, because you just never know who you're going to run into. My sixth most important dating tip is to accept every invitation that you receive from people. Especially when the fall comes and the winter, a lot of people become hermits and they would rather stay home. But give yourself every opportunity, and every invitation you get, go to that party, because you never know who you're going to meet there. My seventh most important dating tip is to simply smile everywhere you go. Most people don't realize this, but a smile is very contagious, and it's also free, but it makes you approachable as well. My eighth most important dating tip is don't be a shallow Hal. For both men and ladies, beauty grows with admiration, so make sure you give each other enough chances to see if you will become attracted to one another. My ninth most important dating tip is if you're not meeting someone through MTN Matchmaking, please meet in a safe place and tell someone where you're going to be and the person's name, who you're going to be with. And make sure you go to a comfortable place where you feel at ease. My top 10 most important dating tip is have fun with dating. People take it too seriously and they get nervous on their first date. But be positive and happy, and remember, dating should be fun.
Okay.
Welcome back, darlings. We're back with my beautiful, glamorous guest.
Oh, thank you.
She is going to tell us, Maureen, tell us where we could go to find out more information about your matchmaking service, what is the website?
It is mtnmatchmaking.com, or you could just call us directly at 516-444-2861.
Gorgeous. You are gorgeous.
You are gorgeous too. Thank you.
Maureen, thank you so much for the interview. And
my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And thank you. And pink champagne kisses.
Mwah!
Welcome back, darlings. I hope you enjoyed my fascinating interview with matchmaker Maureen Tara Nelson. We'll be having more interviews, more Zoom interviews. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget to ring the notification bell. Keep watching, darlings. More fascinating interviews coming up. Pink champagne kisses.
Hello, darlings. You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe. Some of you know Bridget Bardot. Well, now it's time for the Cognac Show. I said Cognac, ooh, ooh. I said Cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm a bubbly blonde, fabulously dressed to impress. One-of-a-kind girl. I was brought into this world wrapped up in pearls. I love to mingle, though my husband reminds me I'm not single. I meet and greet both the famous and the elite. I ride in limousines, drinking the finest champagne, wearing furs, dazzling diamond jewelry. A girl can't complain. I live the upscale life, dining in the finest restaurants, eating the best caviar for free. And no matter how much I enjoy cognac, ooh, ooh. I said cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh.
This has been a Crybaby Productions, darlings.